and it is so great to have you here. And today I am going to talk about a few things. I'm going to talk about a program that I'm putting together and the reason why I'm putting it together and how absolutely fabulous it is. But I'm also going to talk about what my word for 2021 is all about. So first of all, welcome everybody and all the best for 2021. I really do hope that it can be the year that you can really show up and be your most authentic self. And that's what I love to do, is I love to help people to move beyond any kind of loss. And there are over 40 different kinds of losses. So it's really important for us to know how to do it, because we've never really been taught how to do it. Hi, Marianne. Nice to see you, Ed. Marianne, what a beautiful name. It always takes me back to Gilligan's Island when I hear that, and I'm sure I'll read your name, and I'm sure a lot of people say that to you, so I won't harp on it because it may or may not be something that's good or bad for you. But it's certainly showing my age if I can remember Gilligan's Island now, can't I? But anyway, let's get started. So this year I have decided that my one word for the year is loving. Now, the reason that I've chosen loving is because I feel it's time for not only for me to be more loving to myself and to my friends and family and everyone who I meet, but I also feel it's time for the world to be more loving. So I'd love for you, hi Josephine, nice to see you here. I'd love for you to type in if you have, hi Nettie, great to see you here. I'd love to know if you have created a word or one word for your 2021, something that we all can work towards and something for us to, feel the essence of, really deep dive into the word, because, for me, more loving is a word that, as I said, it's time for us all to be more loving, especially to ourselves. And what I've found with all of the people that I have had the pleasure of assisting to move beyond loss and to really come and to find a more loving life for themselves is that when we do the deep dive into the reason why they first reached out to me, it was, a loss event. Okay, as I said, there's over 40 different loss events that can affect all our lives. And whilst most of us feel or think it's, a death of a loved one, there are so many more. There's a divorce, a separation, your job loss, your health, your wealth, even your pets. And in the year that we just have now, 4 days out of, it really is time for us to understand that loss is change. We're not going to be the same person who we were the day before or the moment before this loss event occurred in our lives. But as I was saying, I've just briefly looked. Melissa, I don't do cards. I help people to move beyond loss. I do pull cards just to read and to give messages, but I don't do individual readings. So I just wanted to let you know that, because if you didn't want to be here, I totally understand. So before I go into what I was talking about, I'll just say I can see there's a whole lot of comments. So hi, Nettie. Hi, Katie. I've had more loss than average. Yeah, I'm sure you have, Katie. With over 40 different loss events, we're all going to have multiple major losses throughout our lives. And the fact that we have never really been taught how to move beyond loss, that's why I do what I do, because it doesn't have to be this thing where we get stuck and we just stop living our lives. I love to say that I am the only person that I'm going to spend my entire life with. So why am I putting myself last and giving up on my dreams and not fulfilling why the purpose, the spiritual purpose as to why I came down to earth at this time. And I truly believe it was me having to go through my many major loss events, and one of them being, you know, Dan, my 27-year-old son, my baby by a minute because he is a twin. He passed away in 2011. In July, it will be 10 years since he passed away. And I honestly believe that it was all designed so that I could leave my CFO corporate life where I had so lost myself. And I certainly was not loving to myself when I was in that environment. I was working too much, eating too much, drinking way too much. So it's, you know, and that's why you can probably see why my word for this year is loving. But I totally understand Marianne, and my heart goes out. Sorry, it wasn't Marianne, Katie. Now, Marianne, good. I'm glad you like Gilligan's Island. Yeah, I'm always get told the Gilligan's Island and Marianne. The actress passed away yesterday. Oh, wow. That's incredible. I didn't even know that. That's interesting. She was a great actress. I think she was very typecast, and I think she was always Marianne, so it probably didn't work. Hi, Sony. As I said, I don't do cards. Nettie, great to see your word is empowerment. Katie, your word is love. And that's fantastic. It's very similar to mine, which is loving. And I really love the fact that you've got love, because that's what I want to talk about today. It's about us all coming back to love for ourselves, because as I said earlier, we are the only person we're going to spend our entire life with. So it is about us understanding that we deserve our love and our time and our gratitude more, you know, as much as anyone else that we give it to. So it's important for us to understand this. And what I've really noticed, it seems to happen as we sort of get over 40, 45, 50, that we start to actually realize that, you know what, why am I always putting myself last? Like, it's my life, and I'm not living and loving my life at the moment. So it is about finding more love for yourself and creating these amazing rituals that I love to call me time. And, you know, the me can obviously stand for me, which in your case would be you, but it could also stand for, you know, my exercise, my exuberance, my energy, anything that starts with E. And there's so many words that you can actually get into it and understand. So it is about you understanding and creating and really moving forward. So nice to see you here, Tracy. Thanks. Hi, Melissa. Look, it's, great to see you here. You know, everyone on these platforms have different shows, and a lot of people do readings and all that sort of stuff, and that's fine. It's just that I'm here helping to educate people to understand that no matter what loss events comes to you, it is probably a bit of a gift, because it's about you deep diving into it and you finding you. Because we've probably all noticed that if you go back to your childhood, or if you look at a young child, and I have the pleasure of having my grandson who's 20 months in my life, and it's really great to watch him, you know, how loving he is, how beautiful he is, and how he is so comfortable in his own skin. Like, sure, he gets so excited when he can do something new, but he's really comfortable in being who he is. He's not trying to be anyone else. He's not trying to go out of his ways to please someone or to conform to someone else's ideals of who you should be. And it's how we all started. We all came into this world as this loving person. And through life, you know, and through life and people thinking they were saying the right things to you, but what they were doing was they're putting their beliefs onto you and their probably limiting beliefs in a lot of cases. And we all took them on. We started to buy into the fact that, well, we can't act that way. We can't do that. We're not as good as we think of that. And who do you think you are to be this person? And yes, sure, as if you're good enough to be that star in whatever activity or strength or, talent that you had. So we buy into that, and slowly life starts to chip away at who we are. And we start to give ourselves probably over to not really being our authentic self. Now, recently I saw this interview with Marlo Thomas, and again, I'm showing my age. So Marlo Thomas was the actress who starred in the late 60s, early 70s, That Girl. And she was the daughter of Danny Thomas, who was an American performer. And she starred in this show, and she ended up marrying Phil Donahue, who is, I'm pretty sure most people would know who Phil Donahue is. Anyway, he was a talk show host in the 70s, 80s and 90s, I think maybe early 90s. Anyway, she was married to him. She is still married to him. They're both still alive. And she's well into her 80s now, and I think he's a couple of years older. But they've been married for 40 years, and her comment was that she never, ever wanted to get married, and she didn't get married till she was in her 40s. And she was talking about the reason why she never really wanted to get married, and that was because all the marriages that she had seen, it looked like there was 1.5 people in that relationship. And what she meant was that one person seemed to have given away half of their life supporting the other person in their hopes, dreams, and aspirations. And she thought, I don't want to be half a person. I want to be my true self, right? So what I've found is that many times when job loss or whatever, and so what happens is that when it comes to visit, we seem to, if we're the person who have been that half person in that relationship, right, all of a sudden you don't know who you are because you have given half of your life to this other person. You were, just say it was a divorce, just to make it easy, we'll say it's a divorce. Or we could even say it's a job loss, because that's what I found. When I chose to leave my corporate life and start on this journey to assisting people to, come back to themselves, to learn how to move beyond loss and all these sort of things, way back in 2013, 14, my identity was wrapped up in the fact that I was a CFO of a publicly listed company. So it took a while for me to actually come back to who I authentically was, because I'd been in those roles for a long time. I'd been a manager of companies for, 25 years. So all of a sudden it's, okay, I've got my own business and there's just me. I'm not looking after employees and all those sort of things. So I had lost who I was, and it took a little while for me to come back and be comfortable in my own skin. So what I've found with all of the people that I have worked with, and it's a loss that they weren't even aware of until we did this deep dive into finding who they are, was that they had lost their identity. Now, it could have been through their parents passing away, that they were totally lost. Like, they didn't know who they were without their parents around them, even though they were, well into their 40s or 50s. They were still like shaken, because they're like, well, I don't know, my parent, my mum or my dad was my best friend. Like, how can I go on without them? And what I've found is that it's the journey of coming back to you, right? Now, the person who you were when you were born, and I'm not saying the young baby, but I'm saying that person inside of you who has love and gratitude and understanding, and really has a whole lot of exuberance on being who they are. And that's what I sort of want to talk to you about today. So I'll just go through the comments. I'd love for you to comment and for you to actually, like, you can disagree with me. I have no problems with that. You know, everyone's saying, no, I haven't found that. But just before you comment, I want you to actually deep dive into you. Now, you all would have had loss in your life. Okay, it could have just been a grandparent, or it could have been a job loss, it could have been your health or your stuff. And I want you to deep dive in and think back to what was it when this occurred that really caused you the most major suffering and loss. Was it the fact that you thought, well, I don't know how to go on without this person in my life and being there and all that sort of stuff? Think back and actually tap into yourself and actually say, did I lose myself in that relationship? You know I lost myself in my corporate life. You know, I sort of didn't, even though I was earning great money and stuff like that, I sort of put me last. I put my relationships last. You know, I think back to a month before Dan passed, and it was a Saturday afternoon, and I was getting ready to go on to a conference call with 10 other people. So I was 11. There was 11 on this call. And we were going to have a conference call for 2 hours because we were in a process of a merger with this company. So we were all on this call Saturday afternoon. And my husband and Dan and his girlfriend, we all lived together at that stage, were going for a walk, and then they were going to call into a local pub. And they said, come with us, Mum. And I said, no, I can't. I've got this call. But when I finished, I'll call you and I'll figure out where you are and I'll come meet you. So this is like about 1:30. At 6 p.m., they all arrived back and I was still on the call. And 3 or 4 weeks later, Dan passed away. Now, of course, I had a lot of regrets and anger that I had missed that afternoon, you know, spending time with him and his girlfriend and obviously my husband. But the thing is, it wasn't just me on that call. There was 10 other people. So those 10 people also missed the opportunity of spending the Saturday afternoon with their loved ones. So there's always this battle of, you know, who am I? Am I being authentically me to me and my relationships and everything? Now, of course, at that stage, I had no choice but to be on that call as the CFO of that company. But the thing is, we don't know what's going to happen in the next moment. We don't know what's going to happen. So if there's anything that COVID has taught us, it's to do it now. To not wait around. It's to do whatever you really want to do now, because we don't know what's going to happen. Okay, I'll leave that with you and I'll go back to the calls, to the cards. I've answered your question, Melissa. Listed my websites and stuff. I'll actually put my email address here, which is really easy. It's Karen, which may help you, because it's not easy having any loss come into your life. And whilst there's no hierarchy in the 40 plus loss events, and the reason why there's no hierarchy, it's really good for us to understand that it's a relationship we've lost. Okay, whether it's a loved one or it's a divorce or, you know, our job, it's a relationship we've lost. And who are we to say what someone else's relationship was like compared to our relationship? You know, I know years ago I had a go at a girlfriend because she'd been separated for 5 years, and I think Dan had been passed for like 6 years or 7 years at that stage. And I just went off at her. I just said, oh, will you stop going on about your ex? Sure, he did the dirty on you, but it's so far later and I've lost a child and I don't go on about it the way you go on about your divorce. And then when I really started to deep dive into loss and to understand it, I did reach out to her and I did apologise, because her relationship with her ex, who am I to say what it was like? So why would I compare my relationship with my son, who had gone to the other side, with her relationship with her husband or her ex, who is still in this room? And that's why I say there's no hierarchy in any sort of loss. Though it's when you lose through, when you lose the relationship through death, it's really important for us to understand it's only the physical relationship that we've lost. The emotional and the spiritual part of it will live on forever. So I hope that helps you a little bit, Melissa. And that's what my programs do. They help you to deep dive into the emotional part of the relationship so that you can have a healthy emotional relationship moving forward. Because once you have a healthy relationship with the person, whether they're in this room or the next, you can live and love your life. You can move on. You're not sort of stuck in the grief and the suffering because you have honored them and you've deep dived into it and you've actually learned things about your relationship that you'd like to apologize for, that you'd like to forgive, and also you'd like to acknowledge. And in that process, you actually come back to you and you learn that lesson or that gift from that relationship and from it ending. And, I say the gift of Dan passing was me doing what I'm doing now. Because I would never have done this if he hadn't have passed. I'd probably still be in my corporate life, and who knows where I'd be then, because I know how unhealthy I was compared to now. So who knows, I could have had a heart attack, a stroke, or type 2 diabetes or something like that if I had not actually ventured onto the path that I'm on now. I hope that makes sense. Reach out, Melissa. I totally understand it if you don't. Hi, Sarah Jane. As I said, I don't do cards, but that's okay. Carly, I love your word, me. It comes back to that me time that I was talking about before. And I do actually have a list of all the me's that I somewhere on my computer. So if you want to reach out to me, I'll share them because there are so many E's, as I said earlier, my exercise, my exuberance, my energy, and when you start to live your life with putting you first, and it's not from a selfish perspective. It's from the more I look after me, the more energy I'll have and the more I'll be able to give, because we can't give from a dry well. So if we're always in lack and resentment because we are doing things for everyone else except ourselves, we can't give anymore because we're just flatlining. So that's why our me time is so important, because it does give us the energy and the vitality to be there and to really live and love our lives. Love your word, Carly. Okay, Marianne. Yeah, and Marianne, losing your mum at any age is a really tough one. So my condolences to you. But know that she's always with you. And I'm pretty sure that she's proud of the person that you have become. So good on you, Marianne. I've got to ask you, did she actually name you after Marianne from Gilligan's Islands? Because that sort of makes you around the time when that show was sort of on. I'm assuming that you were born early 70s. So that's when the show would have obviously been on. My condolences, Narelle. I hope your husband and family are hoping. Hope, Melissa. I love the word hope. What an amazing word, especially when you deep dive into it. I actually live in Hope Island on the Gold Operations, and it makes you sort of deep dive into them and make sure that you're aligned. And that's another reason why when a relationship ends, okay, we all have hopes, dreams, and aspirations. And it's about figuring out what they were in this loss event that you've just lost and realizing that they can still come true, maybe not in the way that you had planned it, but in the way moving forward, they can still come true. So it's really important for you to deep dive into your hopes, dreams, and aspirations. Great word, Melissa. Good on you. Mitzi. Yeah, and it's so true. I know for a fact that my son Dan is playing with Raphael all the time, and it's really, really cool. So, and it is love to know, it's great to know that you have these guardian angels on the other side who are guiding, who are pushing you. Like, I know Dan pushes me all the time. That's why I say he's the co-founder of the Chaston Centre, because he's the one that's giving me these inspirations for my books, for my programs, for everything I do. I know that I would never have created everything I've created without him on the other side. Sometimes he tells me, he's like, I've got your back, Mum. I'm pushing you. I'm guiding you. I'm making you listen to me. You didn't when I was here. And he was right. I didn't really listen to anyone, to be quite honest. I knew everything, which is total BS, because we absolutely learn and grow for the rest of our life. So thank you for saying that, Mitzi. Okay, Nettie, you'll be in and out. That's cool. Oh, wow, Katie, that's not easy, losing your immediate family, especially by such a young age. Have you done the deep dive into each of those relationships and found the love and the joy? I hope so. Okay. Okay, my condolences, Sam, do that. Yeah, Amy, such a gift that was. Oh, thank you, Amy. Right, Marianne. Okay, yeah, good, Marianne. I'm so glad. I'm just going to put your little thing up here, which I think is amazing. Hope that's okay with you. And it is nice to actually know that our loved ones are around and they're with us. Okay, now I don't know how to stop doing that. Okay, okay. I don't know how to get out of this, so let me just go hide. Okay, cool. I've done it. Okay, I was getting all the messages up there, which I hadn't really intended to do. So Katie, yes, I've found love and joy in each death I experience. And they are with you in spirit. And that's why it's really important for us all to know and to understand that. Okay, so I've read all the messages and thank you. I'm so glad. So even though I say I don't do cards and I don't, do mediumship or anything like that, I do pick cards, right? And today I'll pick these cards, and I don't have the deck here, but I do have this card which I picked just before we came on. And it's card number 12 and it's called the Messenger, okay? This is a really beautiful deck. They really are guided inspirations from Marcia Quinton. And as I said, I don't have the things, but what I love about them is the message is all in the one card. So that's why I like to read them. So this is it. So this is for everyone who is here today, and it's titled The Messenger. She searches for you and brings a message for you to look for the signs. Today, the messenger has arrived in your life. She has awakened your conscious mind to the source of power that is within you, the seeker. She will help guide you through your decisions and help provide you with solutions. The path will be clear as your mind and spirit will open and know it is right for you. The answers to the questions you seek will appear. Be aware of the signs. Open your mind in silent prayer and seek her message. She surrounds you with her guiding light. Offer up an affirmation to help bring this abundance toward your soul from the universe. You have called upon her power, and she will stay until it is all well within you. Now, for all of the people who have asked for a reading today, that is your reading. For everyone else, this is your reading. So it's really important for us all to know that the answers that we're all seeking can come to us through signs or can come through us through messages. And sometimes the message we just think, oh, did I think that? But when you deep dive into the way you thought that, you sort of know it's different to a thought. So it's about you starting to trust the messages that you are receiving, the guidance that you are receiving. But my first question to you is, are you asking for guidance? Have you actually reached out to your loved ones on the other side and asked them to assist you? Because one thing I do know for sure, that we all have guardian angels, but they cannot come to us. They cannot interfere with our free will until we ask. So it's like they're all behind us going, "We ask me, ask me, ask me, ask me, ask me, and I can help you. Please, please, ask me, ask me, ask me." So probably for all of your life, unless you've started asking, you've had your guardian angel going, "Just ask me, just ask me, just ask me, please ask me. I can show you a better path. I can show you the answer. I can show you the sign." So it's really good for us to understand that it's time for us to ask, because we are the master we are seeking. We know the answers intuitively. But so often we get that the answer that they are going to give to you comes from their belief system. Whether it's limiting or beyond whatever yours is, it doesn't really matter. It's just that how can they possibly come up with the best answer for you if they've never walked a step in your shoes? We're all unique. We're all different. So we're now into a new year, and now is the best time for us all to start to be more knowing, trusting, loving with ourselves, believing that, you know what, we can do it. We can do whatever we want to do. I always love Stephen Covey, and he's, you know, if you can think it, you can do it. Everything is created twice, first in the mind and second in reality. So if you're thinking it, you can create it. And it's about us believing in who we are. That's what it all comes down to. And it's about us believing that we never have to give half of ourselves away to anyone else. We're a complete human being. We are here on a journey, a spiritual journey, to find out, to complete whatever we decided was our mission for this time in our life. And I always love to think of it as a mission, or the fact that we're all living in this realm at this time. We've chosen to be the actor. We've chosen how we look. We've chosen the things that we're going to do, the things that we're going to be great at. We've also chosen the challenges that are going to come into our lives, because those challenges have the key into what our true purpose is. Because when we move beyond those challenges, that's how we can assist others to move beyond similar challenges. We're all here to assist other people. That's what our mission is for everyone else, is to know that we're all connected, to know that we're all here to move beyond whatever challenges we have in our life. And we can do it once we get past and unravel all of these things, these beliefs, all of this anger, all of these things that we find hard to forgive. Once we start to do that, we can really start to revitalize our life. Now, I want to talk to you about revitalize, okay? Because I have, let me just set this up. So I'm going to work, I'm in the process of creating a program which is actually called Revitalize Your Life, okay? It's really going to be a really easy 45-day, you get a video each day, and it's just giving you guidance to revitalize your life, to come back to you, right? And the reason I've created it, it's 45 days. It's going to launch in the next week or so. I'm just in the process of putting the finishing touches to it. But what's really good about it is it just gives you a different perspective, a distant focus for each day for 45 days, just for you to tap back into you so that you can remember, things like you matter, your health matters, your choices matter, all these different things, a different topic for 45 days. And knowing that your opinion matters, right? Your voice matters. You know, it just goes into so many different ones, which I just totally love creating. And it's a program that everyone can just have, because it's like, when I say have, it's $1 a day. It's $45. But you get these things, and it's all about you coming back to you and knowing that, you know, who you are mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually is really important. And believing who you are, you know, looking into your beliefs, because your beliefs do matter. They do get in your way from becoming the person that you so desire to be. Your hopes matter, your dreams matter, and your aspirations matter. And aspirations are one thing that, when we have them, it's so easy for other people to just pull them down, and therefore we don't chase them. We sort of go, oh, well, everyone else doesn't think I can do it, so who am I? But it's about you knowing and deep diving into your aspirations matter. Let's go chase them. Actually, what are they? If you deep dive into you are they actually the ones that you've been telling people, or is there this secret little aspiration that you're not really going to tell anyone? That's what we sort of things will happen for each day. So I want to just talk to you about, let me just change my screen, the word revitalize, because it's really important that when we actually deep dive into, let me just go over here. Right. Let's have a look at the word revitalize, because it's really important that I'd love to break down words. So revitalize means to imbue with new life and vitality. Imbue, what does imbue mean? Well, imbue means to inspire or diffuse with a feeling or quality. Okay, so as I said, I like to break down words. So let me just come over here so you can actually see me as well as this. Now let me go to that one. Yeah, that's a better one. Okay, so imbue actually means, as I said, to inspire or diffuse with a feeling or a quality. So what does re mean? So re means about or regarding, and vitalize means to give strength and energy to. Okay, so then if I re-put all that together, my revitalize means in regards to giving you strength and energy to inspire a new life diffused with vitality. And that's what will happen in 45 days, because as I said, all the people that I have been working with, they've sort of lost their own identity, and they're sort of downtrodden. They're stuck in the grief and the suffering, not really knowing how to move forward. And that's why I really want to revitalize your life, to assist you to revitalize your life. I can't do anything. I can assist you. I can give you the guidance. I can give you the ideas to deep dive into. But unless you're willing to take the time and the actions to revitalize your life, it's not going to happen. It's that simple. But it is about making it really easy for you so that you can. And let's face it, we can all find half an hour a day to, you know, come back to our me time. Because in that half hour a day, you can start to do the deep dive into you, and you can start to look at these 45 different things that really do matter in your life that you may have forgotten about. And that's what this Revitalize Your Life will be all about. So I just thought I'd let you know about it today, because it's going to be next week or the week after when I'm actually going to launch it. But I really wanted you to start to feel into how you're feeling. And when you do deep dive into your life and into the loss events that have occurred in your life, do you feel that it's time for you to revitalize, you know, in regards to giving you strength and energy to inspire a new life diffused with vitality? I don't know about you, but strength and energy, inspire a new life, you know, perfect timing. And why not have vitality in our lives? So that's what I thought I really wanted to share with you today. So now I'll go back to the any other limit. That's so great, Katie. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to put that up again. I'm not sure how. Right. Let me put this up. Right. Thanks, Katie. I just learned last year how much I let other opinions people in. And it's so true. We can all accidentally do that by focusing on other people's opinions, and they're not right for us, as I just said. So it's really important to actually start to do that. And hi, Nicole, great to see you. Now, a lot of the times I talk about muscle testing, and that's one really good thing for everyone to learn how to do. And you can do it so easily with pendulum. And the reason why I love to share and talk about it is because that's a good way for us to see what's right for us and not for others. So let's set it up. So the first thing is you've got to be hydrated. So I've been talking now for like nearly 45 minutes. Oh my God, I've been talking for 45 minutes. Time goes so quickly, doesn't it? And you're still here. So thank you for still being here. So by having a glass of water, you'll hydrate yourself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my little pendulum, right? And you can ask yourself some questions. So as you can see, it's moving already, right? I'm not doing this. Let me stop it. Okay. My name is Karen. Okay, so it's going forwards and back. My name is Fred. Okay, so now it's going sideways. So show me my yes. So as you can see, yes, my name is Karen, and yes is my yes going forwards and back. Show me my no. Okay, so then it's a no. Okay, so I know my yes and I know my no. And then, of course, you can say, show me my maybe, and my maybe goes around in a circle. So I'm not moving it. You can see the top of my hand. I'm not doing it. I've just got it all just there. So I now know and then also ask the question, am I hydrated? Okay, so it's gone yes, so I'm hydrated. Once you know your yes, you know, and your maybe, ask yourself some questions, right? You've set yourself up. You know you're hydrated. You know your yes, you know your no, and you know your maybe. Ask yourself some questions. If people's opinions are you're following them and not your true one, ask them, is this, whatever they said, right for me? And you'll get a yes or a no if it's right for you. And then you can start to go, is there a better way? You've got to obviously ask questions that can come up with a yes or a no answer, which is really important. But start to do that. Start to tap into who you are, because you are a perfectly beautiful, incomplete person. We all are. And it's that simple. We're all on a journey of trying to find who we are. So we are all imperfectly imperfect. So understand that and know that. We will all make mistakes. We'll all make, silly little decisions or choices. And, when we look back at it, when we know more, oh my God, how on earth did I ever make that decision? And of course, at the time, you didn't know what you know now. So you made the decision based on the facts that you knew at that time. Give yourself a break. Just say, I would never make that choice now. I'm more informed. Whereas I can see why I made that choice there and then. Give yourself a break. Stop beating yourself up over silly little things that you can't change. We can learn from the past, but we're going to the future. So let's keep the futures that way. So I always get it wrong because I've got this camera that reverses me. Okay, just to make it clear, that's the past, that's the future. That's right, we're all heading to the future. And it's really great for us to know that today's a new day. We can be whoever we want to be. We can choose to do whatever we want to do. But make sure it's right for you, not someone else's opinion, and that's it. Okay, so isn't asking someone else a pendulum question asking their opinion? You're asking your higher self. When you ask yourself a question on the pendulum, you are asking yourself your higher self. You're not asking anyone else. You are asking yourself. You're tapping into your knowing. And we all have knowing. I love to read books at the moment. I'm reading so many amazing books, and I call them knowing books. And they are sort of spiritually themed books. But as I read them, a lot of the time, I read my first knowing book back in 2001, and it was called Life on the Other Side by Sylvia Browne. And as I read it, my sister had recommended it to me. And as I read it, I went, I've never heard this before, but I know it's true. And that's why I call it a knowing book. Okay. So you're tapping into your higher self. Now, your higher self has been with you. It's your spirit. It's who you are, but it's not just who you are now. It's who you have been forever and ever 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 and ever. So it remembers every single millisecond of who you are when you are down here living how many multiple lives you have previously lived, or even on other galaxies or wherever. It remembers everything. So that's who you're tapping into when you tap into the pendulum, when you use the pendulum. You're not using someone else's thing. Okay. Isn't there someone else? But if I asked you to use your pendulum, okay. If I asked you to use your pendulum, well, you have free will, whether you choose to or not, okay? I use my pendulum when I want to know an answer to something, when I'm sort of, not really sure which choice to decide on. I will use it. But I also use it, like I don't rely on it 100%. It's just another tool in my tool, another gem for me to be able to use in what I love to call my tool gem box, because we don't know what we don't know. Some people have foresight into the future, and some people, but what I've noticed though is the people who have foresight into the future, it's normally for someone else. They don't really have it for themselves as much, which is good. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Katie. I don't do readings, Nikki. So I just talk about how people can move beyond loss and create their better everyday future. So maybe it's best if you tap into another show on this platform. I hope that makes sense. But do you know what? As I've just said, Nikki, tap into yourself. Find the answers within the self. You are the master you are seeking. There's so many tools out there to help you to do that. Start to trust you. Telling the things to say, I'm not dismissing that in any way. Believe me, I've had a lot of readings in my life. But I want you to start to learn how to trust into you. You're the one who is here. You're a spiritual being just like everyone else. They're just a little bit further down the road in their knowledge of being able to use these tools. So start to look at ways that you can give readings to yourself. Trust your gut. Trust the signs. We all have signs coming at us every single day. And start to look at your life for the lessons that everything that has come to you. It's telling you things. It's giving you readings. I hope that makes sense. Hi, Miranda. Nice to see you here today. Well, I have completed everything that I sort of had to share today. So is there any questions? Is there anything else that I can assist you with today? I'm here for the next probably, 9 minutes, unless there's things. Thanks, Nikki. It's time for us all to know that, to start trusting ourselves. Right. Is it time for me to go? I feel it is. Unless we've got any more questions, I'm going to love you and leave you. As I said, remember, in a few weeks, either next week or the week after, I'm going to be sharing with you about my Revitalize Your Life. I'm so excited about it. I love putting it together. And I love the fact that it can, for $1 a day, $45, everyone can look at different ways that they can tap into their life and start to remember. you know, as I said, start to remember the things that you know, that all it is, our life is just a journey of coming back to remembering, to knowing who we are, and to be able to really live and love our lives. And that's why I do what I do. I've seen so many people get stuck in their life after a major loss event and not be able to really live and love their lives. You know, my grandfather, he passed when I was 12 and a half, and he passed 6 months after his oldest son had passed, and he died of a broken heart. And that's why I know that I do what I do. I don't, you know, I knew it was never going to happen to me when my son, because I learned the lesson from the way my papa passed. And I really, that's why I deep dived into loss after the loss of my son and then the loss of my job, which was my decision. But it's so important that we know how to move beyond loss. As I continually say, there are over 40 different loss events that can affect all of our lives. And it's important for us all to know how to move beyond these loss events, not to get stuck in the grieving and the suffering, because you're here for a reason. And it's really important that you obtain that reason. I spoke earlier about the book Life on the Other Side by Sylvia Browne, which was my first knowing book that I read. And it's such a great book. I highly recommend it, even though it's, 20 years old now. I think it was published in 2001. I certainly read it in 2001. And I know that she was guided, like she was a medium, and she was a very highly successful medium. And her guide on the other side told her, or assisted her to remember what actually happens before we come down and what happens when we go back. Now, it's okay if you don't believe in any of this, because it doesn't really matter, because when you sort of tap into yourself, you may come back to a knowing. And if you don't, well, maybe you're not meant to have this knowing in this lifetime that you are living at the moment. It's that simple. So what she did was she actually told us about how we choose this, this lesson that we need to work through. And then when we go back, we, after greeting all of our past loved ones, we then have what we call a life review, where we compare what we did to what we were going to do, okay? And what happens is there's always discrepancies, because when we come down, when we're on the other side, it's just pure love. So when we're in pure love, we can do anything, because we're in pure love, and everyone around us is guiding and supporting us because everyone is pure love. But then when we come down here into the density where not everyone is loving and not everyone is supporting us, we get stuck because we start to have limiting beliefs, and we start to believe that maybe it's not possible. So it's really important for us to sort of go, well, do you know what? This is my life, and this is a tragedy is what's happened. But maybe it's a tragedy that I chose so that I could move beyond this and, create the life that I came down here to be, to work through all of these challenges. And we've all had many major losses in our life. With over 40, how can we not all have multiple? And it's about us understanding how to move beyond and not get stuck in it, to find the gift, the lesson, that it's sort of pointing you in a different direction. It's, my final stage of my 5-step process to help people move beyond loss is called the pivot stage, because you're never going to be the same person who you were before this loss event happened. So it's important for us to say, okay, well, who do I want to be? How do I pivot? How do I move forward from this? And that's what this 45-day Revitalize Your Life is about. It's giving you the energy so that you can actually choose the way that you want to pivot, the way that you want to move forward, the way that you can, come to love and gratitude in relationship to the relationship that you've lost through this loss event. So I hope that all works out for you. I hope you can understand it. As I said, or at the top of this is all my details. I've typed in my email address. If anyone wants to reach out to me, please do. If not, I will see you here, same time next week, wherever you are in the world, whatever time you tapped in almost an hour ago now, 57 minutes ago to be precise. I'll see you here again next week, and come along with any questions. You know, each week I have a different theme that I talk about. It's all about assisting us to love our lives. As I said, my word for the year is loving, and it is as much being more loving to myself as it is to anyone else, because I deserve my love and gratitude as much as anyone else does. And so do you deserve your love and gratitude for who you are. And so that you can look in the mirror each day and, you know, give yourself the old Fonzie salute. You know the Fonzie salute. Hey! You can do that. You can really look into your own eyes and do that. So namaste for being here. I really do appreciate it. If there's any more questions, look at that. I had 9 minutes and now I'm down to 2. I can't believe how quickly time goes on here. I'm really grateful for all of you being here. Thank you, Nikki. Great to see you. Hi, Miranda. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Nicole and Marianne and Amy and Nettie and Sandy and everyone else. Bye for now. Have an amazing week, and I'll see you here next week. Bye.